My name is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You want to hear about me? Good choice. There is only one Zlatan. My story started in a tough place in Sweden. Not many people from there become famous footballers. But I was different. I had skills, yes, but I also had belief. I believed I was the best, even when nobody else did. I worked hard, very hard. I scored goals, many goals, goals that made people talk. I played for big clubs in big countries, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, France, England, USA. And everywhere I went, I won, almost everywhere. Football needed Zlatan. So, listen to my story. I was born in Malmö, Sweden, on October 3, 1981. My parents came from Yugoslavia before I was born. My father from Bosnia, my mother from Croatia. I grew up in Rosengård. This was not a rich area. It was a tough place. Life was not easy for my family. My parents divorced when I was very young. We didn't have much money. Sometimes things were difficult at home. Because of where I came from, because of my name, I sometimes felt like an outsider in Sweden. But I had football. Football was my friend. It was my way to escape, my way to show who I was. I played all the time, on the streets, on small concrete courts near my home. That's where I learned my skills, my tricks. You had to be skillful to survive in those games. You had to be tough too. I needed to get to training sometimes, but it was far. There is a story about me taking a bicycle because I needed a way to get there. Maybe I did things my own way sometimes because I had to find a way. Growing up in Rosengård made me strong. It made me fight for everything. It made me Zlatan. I started playing football seriously when I joined the youth teams of Malmö FF, the biggest club in my city. My talent was clear. I could do things with the ball that other kids couldn't, but I also had a strong personality. I said what I thought. Sometimes I argued with coaches, with other players. Maybe I was a difficult teenager. I don't know. I just knew I was good, and I wanted to play my way. I worked hard though, practiced my skills. In 1999, when I was 17, I made my first appearance for the Malmö first team. That was a big moment. The team was actually in the second division then. I started playing more, scoring some goals. I helped Malmö win promotion back to the top Swedish league in 2000. People in Sweden started to see this tall, skillful young player with a lot of confidence. I showed flashes of what I could become. My performances for Malmö got noticed by bigger clubs outside Sweden. In 2001, when I was 19, I made a big move. I went to the Netherlands to play for Ajax Amsterdam. Ajax is a famous club with a great history of developing young players and playing technical football. Moving to Ajax was a big step up. I had to learn the Ajax style of play. Lots of passing, movement, tactics. It was different from what I was used to. I also had to adapt to living in a new country again. Sometimes it was difficult. I had some arguments with the coach, Ronald Koeman. I also had some problems with a teammate, Rafael van der Vaart. It wasn't always easy. But I learned a lot at Ajax. I became a better player, technically and mentally, and I started to show my special skills more often. I scored many goals. People remember one goal especially, against NAC Breda in 2004. I got the ball, and I just kept dribbling. I beat maybe 5, 6 players, twisting, turning, faking shots, until finally I put the ball in the net. It was an amazing goal. It showed the skill and confidence I had. With Ajax, I started winning trophies. We won the Dutch league title, the Eredivisie, 2 times, in 2002 and 2004. We also won the Dutch Cup. Playing in the Champions League for Ajax was also an important experience. My time in the Netherlands helped me grow up as a player. After 3 seasons there, I was ready for an even bigger challenge. The top leagues were watching me. In 2004, I moved to Italy, signing for Juventus. Juventus was one of the biggest clubs in the world, full of superstars. Players like Alessandro Del Piero, Pavel Nedved, David Trezeguet, Gianluigi Buffon. Amazing players. My coach was Fabio Capello, a tough Italian manager who knew how to win. Joining Juventus was another big step. I went straight into the team and started playing well. I scored goals in my first season. Playing in Serie A, the Italian league, was very difficult. The defenders were strong, clever, experienced. You had to be strong and smart to score goals in Italy. I learned a lot playing against them every week. Under Capello, I worked hard, became stronger physically. I learned how to be more effective, how to contribute to winning. We had a fantastic team at Juventus. We won the Serie A league title in my first season, 2005, and again in my second season, 2006. Winning felt good. I felt I was becoming a winner. But then something big happened off the pitch. A big scandal in Italian football called Calciopoli. Juventus was punished very badly. The club was relegated, sent down to the second division, Serie B. And those 2 league titles we won, they were taken away from the club's history. It was a crazy time. I had joined Juventus to win and play at the top level. I did not want to play in Serie B. So, after 2 years and those 2 lost titles, I decided I had to leave Juventus. I stayed in Italy, moving to another giant club, Inter Milan, in 2006. Inter were big rivals of Juventus. For me, this was a great move. I wanted to keep winning Serie A, and Inter gave me the chance. At Inter, I felt I became the main player, the leader of the attack. I had 3 fantastic seasons there. We won the Serie A title every year I was there, 2007, 2008, and 2009, 3 titles in a row. It felt great to dominate the league like that. I scored many goals for Inter, important goals, spectacular goals, powerful shots, clever finishes, sometimes using my taekwondo skills with high kicks, or maybe a backheel goal. People started saying I was the best player in Italy. In my last season there, 2008 to 2009, I was the top scorer in Serie A. I enjoyed my time at Inter Milan a lot. I felt like a king in Italy. We were winning everything domestically, but there was one trophy missing, the one I really wanted, the Champions League. Inter didn't manage to win it while I was there. I felt maybe I needed to move to a team that had a better chance of winning the biggest prize in Europe. So, in 2009, I made a huge transfer to FC Barcelona in Spain. It was a big deal, involving money plus Barcelona sending their striker Samuel Eto'o to Inter. Barcelona, at that time, was maybe the best team in the world. They had just won the Champions League, playing amazing football with Lionel Messi, Xavi, Andres Iniesta. Their coach was Pep Guardiola. Joining them felt like maybe this was my best chance to win the Champions League. My start at Barcelona was good. I scored goals in my first few league games. We won the Spanish Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup early in the season. It seemed like a good fit, but The way Barcelona played was very different. Their style, tiki-taka, was all about short passes, keeping the ball, specific movements. It was very successful, but it wasn't really my style. I like to have freedom to use my strength, my individual skills. In Barcelona's system, I felt sometimes like I couldn't be myself, like I was just a small part doing a specific job, and my relationship with the coach, Pep Guardiola, became difficult. We didn't communicate much. We didn't understand each other, I think. He had his ideas, his philosophy, and I didn't feel I fitted into it perfectly. Things got worse as the season went on. We did win the Spanish league title, La Liga, in 2010. But personally, it wasn't a happy year for me. I realized that even being at the best team might not be the best place for me if I couldn't play my way and feel important. So, after just one season, I left Barcelona. It was a strange experience, maybe not the right move for me at that time, but I learned from it. Where did I go next? Back to Italy and back to the city of Milan, but this time joining AC Milan, Inter's big rivals. First I went on loan in 2010, and then the move became permanent. Going back to Italy felt good. I knew the league, I liked the country, and Milan was a great club with a big history. At AC Milan, I immediately felt important again. I became a leader in the team, and in my very first full season there, 2010 to 2011, I led Milan to win the Serie A title. It was Milan's first league title in 7 years. For me, it was my fourth Italian championship win, with 3 different clubs, Inter, Milan, and Juventus originally. It felt great to prove I could still lead a team to victory in Italy. The next season, I was the top scorer in Serie A again. I really enjoyed my time at AC Milan. I felt respected, I played my game, I scored goals, and we won the league. It was a happy period for me after the difficulties at Barcelona. But football changes quickly. AC Milan had some financial problems, and in 2012, I made another big move. This time, I went to France, joining Paris Saint-Germain, PSG. Paris Saint-Germain had new rich owners who wanted to build a super team and dominate French football. They wanted me to be the star player, the face of their project. And that's what happened. I spent 4 seasons at PSG, from 2012 to 2016. During that time, we completely dominated French football. We won the French league title, Ligue 1, every single year I was there. 4 times in a row. We also won many French Cup competitions. I was the main man, scoring goals for fun. I was the top scorer in Ligue 1 3 times out of my 4 seasons there. I scored many spectacular goals too. One very famous goal people remember from this period was actually for my country, Sweden, against England, that unbelievable long-distance bicycle kick. But my form for PSG was also very strong. When I left PSG in 2016, I was their all-time top goal scorer at that time. I said I came like a king, left like a legend, and maybe it was true. After leaving PSG as a legend, I decided it was time to try something new again. In 2016, at the age of 34, I moved to England, signing for Manchester United on a free transfer. My former coach from Inter, Jose Mourinho, was the manager there. Many people in England doubted me. They said I was too old, too slow for the fast English Premier League. I loved that challenge. I wanted to prove them wrong. And I think I did. I scored goals right away. I scored the winning goal in the Community Shield match at Wembley. I scored 2 goals, including the late winner in the League Cup final, also at Wembley. I felt strong. I was scoring important goals for United. We also won the UEFA Europa League that season, which was a European trophy for the club. But then, disaster struck again. In April 2017, during a Europa League match, I landed badly and suffered a very serious knee injury, ligament damage. It looked really bad. Again, people wondered if my career was over, especially at my age, 35. But Zlatan does not give up easily. I worked incredibly hard on my recovery, maybe harder than ever before. My knee needed surgery, but I was determined to come back strong. And I did. I recovered much faster than people expected and returned to play a few more games for Manchester United later that year. It showed my strength, my mentality. After my recovery and brief return at United, I decided on a new adventure. In March 2018, I moved to the USA, joining LA Galaxy in Major League Soccer, MLS. I announced my arrival in my own way, taking out a newspaper advert saying, "Dear Los Angeles, you're welcome." My first game for LA Galaxy was like a movie. We were losing 3-0. I came on as a substitute. First, I scored an amazing goal from about 40 yards out, a volley that flew into the net. Then, in the last minute, I scored the winning goal with a header. What a debut! The American fans loved it. I scored many goals in my 2 seasons in MLS, including more spectacular ones. I enjoyed my time in Los Angeles, bringing Zlatan to America. But my story in Europe wasn't quite finished. In late 2019, turning 38, I made a surprise return to AC Milan. The club was struggling a bit, with many young players. They needed a leader, experience, mentality. I felt I could still contribute, and my return had a big impact. I helped the team improve, gave confidence to the young players. We started climbing the table, and incredibly, in the 2021 to 2022 season, I helped AC Milan win the Serie A title again, winning the Italian league at the age of 40. It was an amazing achievement, something I am very proud of. My last few seasons were a battle with injuries. My body was telling me it was near the end, but I still tried to help the team whenever I could. Finally, at the end of the 2022 to 2023 season, in June 2023, I announced my retirement from football. There was an emotional ceremony at San Siro, the Milan stadium. It was time to say goodbye to playing the game I love. I must also mention my country, Sweden. I played for the national team for many years, from 2001 until my final retirement. I am Sweden's all-time record goal scorer, which makes me very proud. I played in World Cups, 2002, 2006, and European Championships. I scored some unforgettable goals for Sweden too, like that bicycle kick against England from 30 yards. My relationship with the national team, the coaches, the media wasn't always smooth. That's just Zlatan, but I always played with pride for my country. So, what is my legacy? I won league titles in 4 different big countries: Netherlands, Italy, Spain, and France. I think 12 league titles in total, plus many cups. I scored over 500 goals in my career, many of them spectacular. I showed that a big, tall player could also have amazing skill and technique. I brought confidence, personality, maybe some arrogance too. I never won the Champions League, that trophy escaped me, but I had an amazing career and I did it my way. There is only one Zlatan, remember that.